for spending your time with me, Mr. Clarkson. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
So, a lot of talk over the past couple of years is the big cliche disclosure. So, I guess what is your definition of disclosure? Have we been the government incrementally been disclosing the truth about UFOs, advanced alien technology over the years, or is that something that we will eventually lead to one day?
Disclosure is difficult to define. In one respect, people think that disclosure is going to be like the great scene in the original version of The Day the Earth Stood Still, the classic 1951 movie, and that the UFO is going to land on the White House lawn and out will step the alien and everyone in the world will instantly know the aliens are here. Not so simple. Even our own government's agenda appears, in my opinion, over a long period of time. I'm not even sure that they all agree about disclosure. It appears to me at times that there may even be like a conflict or a dissension where sometimes they want to tell us something real and important about the UFOs, and a lot of the rest of the time they don't. Clearly there is a cover-up. Clearly it's been in place for a long time. Given the present political climate, and thinking back to United States Representative Dennis Kucinich, who was running for president a couple of election cycles ago, and his entire campaign was derailed by one question from, I believe it was Chris Hedges, who asked him about the fact that in Shirley MacLaine's book, she had mentioned that Dennis Kucinich had seen a UFO. And just asking that question on national television during the debates was enough to take him out of the presidential race, even though we've had 1, 2, 3 presidents who've seen UFOs. We have Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan.
That we know of. Could be
right,
more.
And there's probably more.
But it seems like there's a lot of debate.
There is.
And it seems like there's a lot of infighting within the UFO community.
Well, there is.
In general.
No doubt about it. And disclosure is, people say, what's disclosure? I covered that in my talk. This is disclosure. This group of people getting together and saying, we think enough of this subject to spend our time and our money to go listen to speakers, to read books, to talk amongst ourselves, to argue with other people. Hopefully, this will cause a lot of arguments. I want there to be a whole lot of confrontations because of this conference where other people who are skeptical say, well, I don't believe that stuff. Look at that. You wear a tinfoil hat. And then somebody who's been to the conference will quote me or quote Linda Moulton Howe or Stanton Friedman and say, no, you're wrong. You haven't studied it. You don't know the facts. You need to listen to me. And so that's disclosure. Disclosure is the scientific community more and more and more talking about Earth-like planets, talking about water. I was told when I was little there would be no planets out in space. They were so certain. And there definitely would be no Earth-like planets. And there definitely would be no water.
Do you think there's a change in perception, ideology, and maybe consciousness compared from the years past up to present?
We know way more. One of the greatest inventions, aside from the internet in our lifetime, in my opinion, is the Hubble telescope. Bar none. That is the most magnificent thing we've ever built. It's our eye on the universe. And I was greatly overjoyed because when the Hubble telescope was going down and they weren't going to be able to operate it anymore, and they said, we're just going to let it run out and who cares? There was a public outcry. They said, no, we don't want the Hubble closed. You will be blinding the people of the earth. We want to see what's out there in space. I was just watching a documentary the other day about how large of a scale we are now studying the universe on, where we believe that there are complex structures of galaxies in the universe that would take billions of light years for us to cross. Our thinking has changed. It's not a man-centered or an earth-centered cosmos anymore. Everybody who has any sense knows that we live on one little grain of sand on the cosmic beach. And to think that we are the only quote-unquote intelligent life out there is nuts. That argument just doesn't hold water.
Do you think that, is it because of humanity evolving consciously over the past years, or do you think there's some type of intervention from extraterrestrial, like, are they helping us evolve?
It's conceivable, but I can't prove it.
I guess, are they helping us evolve to get ready for the grand finale, whatever the grand finale is?
It does look that way to me, because it appears to me, if I had to characterize their interactions other than direct experiences that people have reported with beings, the alien abduction phenomena, contactees, etc., by and large, the aliens are showing themselves enough to make us ask questions, but they're not showing themselves enough for us to be able to really get any direct answers. So we are having to struggle to come up to their level. So we have to open our minds to a higher reality.
Exactly. And it's a little tougher living in the South with the Bible Belt. And because a lot of my friends, family, this subject is taboo. And a lot of people don't, I think a lot of people do believe or have experiences that they can't explain, seeing things in the sky they can't explain, or whatever it is. But a lot of people show cognitive dissonance and they don't want to accept the truth. I don't know if it's because of fear of ridicule or whatever, but we have to get past this, I guess, this old mindset, this old stagnated, we do need to keep pushing forward and evolve as a species. So
I absolutely agree with you. I couldn't agree more. I will tell you that personally, this is my own personal belief. Can I prove it? No. I have never been able to understand the debate between science and religion. Because I am, if I was going to, somebody said, what do you believe? I don't believe that there is any place where God is not. Very simply. It's all around us. The divine presence is everywhere. What I disagree with is human interpretations, human definitions of how we are supposed to revere that divine presence. But learning about aliens, learning about outer space, learning about the true nature of reality, that's, to me, is a form of worship. It's a form of saying, this is worthwhile. This is something we should devote our lives to being more compassionate, to having a deeper understanding of the universe we live in. It's critically important. And
Exactly.
Studying UFOs and aliens is just one part of that. I happen to like it because if you study that one area, you end up studying all the other areas.
you start learning more.
And you become more humbled and more appreciative of how glorious and grand it all is. I don't see the problem unless you are so scared and so insecure that you're not willing to open your mind to the fact that, yeah, it's a little scary. We live on this tiny little planet. A meteor could come and wipe us all out. The sun could explode and the radiation would kill us all. But on the other hand, there's also a chance that we're on the verge of inventing interstellar travel and that human beings may spread out to the stars, which is what I personally hope will happen.
Yeah. And I totally agree that we have to not just look at this subject, but other subjects as well on the alternative side, other conspiracies, because they all paint a picture that helps us, I guess, kind of see the whole portrait, see what exactly it is that we're facing. But kind of moving forward a little bit, are we currently, I guess, in a physical form being contacted by extraterrestrials, or is it more like some people say that consciously and things like that in that matter?
It appears to me that some people are. Can I prove it? In other words, can I pick a particular contactee and prove beyond any reasonable doubt that it's real? No, I can't. There isn't enough objective proof, but maybe objective proof is not the answer.
Yeah.
Maybe there are other kinds of proof.
because a lot of people say that they're if they are coming here, it's more interdimensional. That's the reason why we see them just for a few seconds. Like, I'm talking about UFOs. The UFOs that we think maybe could be extraterrestrial.
This may be a terminology problem. Because when you're looking across space, you're looking back in time.
Yeah.
And so are they nuts and bolts spaceships? Are they interdimensional travelers? Are they time travelers? And the answer may be E, all of the above.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But what are some of the things that we can do to, I guess, as a species, push forward? I know you touched on it just a while ago, but what are some things that we can do just as a planet, just as a species here on planet Earth, to push forward when it comes to this subject? Because it seems like, just like I said a while ago, it seems like a lot of us get ridiculed. But is there something that we can look forward to? Is there something that we need to do? I know you say come to these conferences,
right?
And do what we're doing now. But one thing in particular, I guess what I'm trying to say, does it need to be like the president saying that they're here, or does the whammy type disclosure, does that have to happen for us to actually move forward as a species?
No, I think it's already happening. We are becoming incrementally different. And it won't be according to anybody in particular's model. There's too many variables. There's too many things that no one could have predicted. Nobody had any idea that the internet would become what it has. Nobody thought that the average person would be carrying around a computer on their belt that was more powerful than any previously existing device that would send the computers that were used to send rockets to the moon. The average cell phone has more computing power. Nobody thought about being interconnected instantly around the globe. Nobody anticipated what the consequences would be to that. I mean, politically, they would love to control the internet, because if they could lock it down, they would be able to get away with more. They don't like it when people film bad conduct and it goes viral, because they don't want people to see how they're acting. There's a lot of aspects to this, and nobody quite knows how it's going to come out. This is an unsettled period for the human race, because we don't know quite where we're going. I don't know if it's the death knell or if it's birth pangs. It could be either one.